Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. If you deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way, you're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technologies, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps. Mimosa Networks, providing high-density, high-bandwidth radio products. Advanced LLC, providing retail and wholesale advanced communication services by matching providers with your bandwidth needs. And by Sitel, providing reliability in surge suppression. And now your host for ISP Radio, Steve Grabiel and Dennis Burgess.
Welcome to another edition of ISP Radio. Like the announcer said, I'm Steve, broadcasting from Moriarty, New Mexico, and my co-host and producer of the show, Dennis Burgess, is broadcasting from St. Louis, Missouri. Not much going out here. It's been actually pretty nice. I'm actually wearing shorts, kind of freaking out my employees because it's still relatively cold in the morning, but it's nice out, no wind, amazingly. Spent the last 5 days four-wheeling with my four-wheel drive club out in the middle of nowhere, Moab, Utah, camping out, and we got snowed on, and it even snowed down here in New Mexico about 4 inches, but it was instantly gone. Things have been running pretty smooth over in my neck of the woods. Had time to go out and take a little vacation and came back, and everything's running like it should. Dennis, what's it like out in your neck of the woods?
You know what? It's been a little bit cool, just like kind of what you said, but otherwise it's been excellent. The weather's been nice, not really a big deal at all. It's been a little cool, but a little rainy a little bit, a couple drizzles here and there, but now it's sunshiny and blue skies out.
Yeah, beautiful. So today's show is basically the MikroTik users meetings that was in Dallas over the past week. Dennis went there, and we just wanted to talk about what he saw there and how it went.
Gotcha, yeah. I mean, it really went well. There was a beautiful show, great venue. We've actually been at that venue before. So for those of you that don't know, what we're talking about is the MikroTik user meeting. So MikroTik has a exhibit workshop type thing. They usually have a single conference hall. They have presenters that wish to present. You can submit your ideals for presenting, etc. And then they have a little exhibit hall for anybody that wishes to attend and to exhibit there. I don't know if they probably had like 20 or so exhibitors. It's definitely scaled back, definitely smaller than a ISP or a WISP America or WISPapalooza by far. And it's definitely more focused on the MikroTik product line. There they do announce any type of new products. They give you some roadmaps. They try to help you out. And you also have and get to meet some of the MikroTik guys themselves. This year, it was at the American Airlines Conference Center in Dallas. They move it around. It's been in Miami, Pittsburgh, a number of other locations. But overall, they kind of move it around and keep it going. Like I said, we've been there. I think it was like either 7 or 9 years ago that we were back at that exact venue. Matter of fact, it's kind of interesting because the exhibit hall is actually a mock-up of a airport lobby, like the ticketing and gate agents. So they do training there for American Airlines. Definitely neat because they also have a whole bunch of simulators, different aircraft, things like that are basically inside the building, and you can walk down and look at those. Kind of neat to see. It's a neat place. Plus, Dallas is a really good venue as well. So let's talk about, I guess, what's new. Well, unfortunately, they pretty much pulled all their stops out back at the MUM in Europe. All the new products, the LHGs that are coming down, have already been announced. We've already seen those products. We've already talked about them here on ISP Radio. So, unfortunately, nothing super new as far as new products that MikroTik's coming out with. Everything that we pretty much knew about. There was definitely some emphasis. They were definitely interested in getting some feedback on some of their existing products, their existing software, things like that. I know I had a number of people ask me, well, when's version 7 going to come out? And everything that I get is basically soon. But there's plenty of other things going on, and it hasn't been a super big priority for them to get done. So if you're ready for version 7, you need to email support@MikroTik.com, which is, of course, their common answer. The big thing is that they are... while I can't sit there and confirm this, one of the things that we've seen is we've seen what we call a new product line called the Hex product line. And these are pretty much the replacements for the products such as the 951, the original 451s or 951s, the original products that were basically aimed at their Soho router line, if that makes sense, or really the home product line. So we're definitely seeing that get changed out, and I would very much envision for those of you that are moving towards or using MikroTik extensively. I know plenty of people that they're looking at using these what we call they actually have two products. They have the HAP, which is up on your screen right now. And this is basically their home access point router type product. So again, a replacement for the 951, but they also are moving towards these hex units. And they're going to have some of these as well. And basically these, again, are very, very similar to what we've seen in 951s with PoE out, things like that. One of the big products that we do see is the actual hex, which is just not a hex light, not the hex PoE. But these things are going to actually have the dual band radios in them now, things like that. And we're really seeing the product change from what the original was, which was all the boards, the raw boards, and then they started making the 951s, things like that. And now we're seeing these new product line called the Hex series and the Home AP series. And I would definitely think, and while I cannot say for certain if it was implied or not, but I definitely think that especially some of the older series boards, and I'm going to really focus down on the 1100s probably. We're probably going to see those, and we're probably going to see especially any of the 400 series. The 900 series probably not so much, but the 400 series, which has been a workhorse for years and years of the MikroTik product line. We're probably going to see a lot of that, the 400 series. I'm assuming probably the 800 series as well, but a lot of the 400 series products basically start getting into life. Now, that has not came down. I'm not saying it will or will not. However, I guarantee you that that's probably going to start happening eventually. So just keep that in mind. They're really looking at the 900 series, which are the lower cost boards. It's just simply a better technology, better made, and guess what? It's cheaper. So, of hardware platforms, if you know what I mean. I've talked about another product that I'm extremely excited about, and that's what we call the WAP AC product. And I'll put that up on the screen here. But this is a ultra small single port. It's kind of hard to see on the white version, isn't it? So they have a white or black, but it's a dual band access point specifically designed for home or commercial use for in buildings, things like that. But what's real nice is it can be ceiling mounted, wall mounted, and it has a triple chain 5 gig radio and a dual chain 2.4 radio all in one product. And on top of that, it's outdoor ready. So in other words, you can put it right outside. I'm very much looking forward to these. I believe they're already on order. I don't know if they're actually in yet, but I know they are coming in very, very quickly. So we're going to see those as well. The other thing is, most people probably already know this, is that MikroTik has started shipping U.S. versions with U.S. certifications in various uni bands. We do not have the DFS certification yet. However, we was promised at the MUM that they are working on it. So that's a good plus. So we are seeing that. And we also have products like the LHG5, which is the Lighthead grid. I don't know where they... actually, now I know where they got the name for this. If you look at this thing, I'm going to click on the product here, and I don't know if it actually has a weight inside this. It doesn't look like
kilograms.
it. Was it in kilograms?
I imagine it would be.
Well, yeah. Well, let me tell you what. When they mean light, they mean light. As in, I bet if the thing is a half a pound, I'd be impressed.
Hmm.
I mean, it is really, really light. We looked at it, and we're definitely getting those in. They're already coming in, etc. But being at the MUM, we actually got to pick up one and play with one. There also was some people have asked this. So if I go back to this picture here, which is the lighthead grid mounted with straps to a pole, there's not a whole lot of vertical movement. So I know some customers have asked about that, and I've already been told that they're working on a new mount for this that will be articulating it to an extent to where you can add a little mount and have some type of articulation up and down and left and right and such. So definitely a really good thing. But I will tell you right now, when I say these things are light, these things are really, really light. And it's actually really cool how they do the process, because I wish we had a really good image of the front that was closer. But this back image here is probably the closest thing we're going to get. And if you look at this, what actually happens is they take this wire mesh, which is the grid, right? And they actually place that into the injection molding machine, and all the plastic of the grid that holds the mesh is actually injected into it. So the mesh is doesn't even have to be like strapped to it or anything. It's not like it's screwed in. It literally is molded with plastic around the mesh. So there's nothing to really break, if that makes sense. So. So far, just a really neat product. Like I said, it is super light. We're expecting to get those in a week or two, I hope. So start getting them. I will note that they are slightly big to ship, so if you need a lot of them, and keep in mind, their retail's $59. If you need a lot of them, pallet shipping is definitely the way to go, since they are very, very light. But just so you know, you do have those options as well. There was a number of, not trainings, but sessions that went on at the show, and I would have to pull the archive up here and show you what they were. But there was a number of them that were very good. There was a number of them that I think a lot of people, especially beginners, would very much like. So I'm not going to say there was any bad presentations, nothing that I sat in on. They had things such as, opening, introduction, new products. They had top 10 router OS mistakes. Was a interesting session, real straightforward. We had a Capsman session on using Caps Manager to handle the wireless.
Do you remember any of the top 10 boo-boos?
Off the top of my head, I do not, and it's still too early. They don't have the presentations posted yet.
Gotcha.
So, but they will. Just keep that in mind. But one of the nifty things that this is actually probably one of the newer announcements that we have is the MikroTik has released a new package, and this package is called the Wireless Rep, REP. This is a brand new package for the wireless system, completely rebuilding the wireless drivers from scratch. At least that's what I was told. So with that said, what does this package do? Well, obviously it helps with the WAP. It helps with the WAP ACs, things like that. But here is the really cool thing is they've actually added some really neat features. So I'm going to pull this up here. Give me a sec here. If I don't cough on everybody here. Here we go. Boom, there we go. So first thing on the WAPs usage cases, notice they actually have a little cutout in the back. It's a little punch out that you can punch out for interior use. And that allows you to route the Ethernet cable without even seeing the Ethernet cable. So if you put a wall mount or ceiling mount on it, it looks really, really good. And then it comes with the wall mounting plate, and you can also use that to ceiling mount. But here's the big thing. We have repeater setup, so instant repeater setup. We have background scans. Yay! So in other words, these units now with a single wireless card will sit there and do constant background scanning. You can actually do a background scan, and while you're connected to an AP, so you have a CPE, right? And it's running, and you want to see if there's another AP better, you can actually do a background scan and scan that and not get disconnected. So you can actually look for another AP while you're connected. Kind of nifty, right?
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. But the big thing is that also adds a lot into this, which is further station roaming support. By default, the 802.11 standard doesn't really handle this extremely well. Okay, but what happens is it takes the station roaming, and with that background scan, we now can sit there and constantly scan and look for another of the same SSID, but a different BSSID, so a different MAC address. Think of it that way. And if you have a device that needs to roam much easier, we can actually roam extremely easily now because we're constantly looking for the best signal versus just the best SSID. So we definitely added some CAPSMAN support. Something else that was always interesting was that their old driver, we couldn't get GN support, which is kind of an oddball thing, but we had to do BGN, and now we can support just G and N, excluding those layered data rates completely, which does help out in the performance aspect of the boards, because now we don't have to support those older legacy data rates. The repeater setup is just very similar to a WDS repeater setup. Basically allows a station to repeat. You can route it, you can bridge it. There's all kinds of different ways. Very, very simple. There's actually a setup button that allows you to run that. But really the background scan is probably the big cool thing. Now currently this is only for the 802.11 protocol, but eventually they're going to get into the NV2 protocol. They are working towards that. The virtual wireless stuff, again, we've done all that, but the big thing is that we can add multiple virtual interfaces and do the background scan all at the same time. And that's part of the WPS client support as well. Also, some other features they added was the scan to file and scanned around or scanned round setting. Allows you to literally take a scan result and do a scan and save it to a CSV for further research to see if you can do that. And there's all kinds of little stuff inside here that we can do. Again, the station roaming support definitely will help. The BGN band settings, and then we also added some CAPSMAN features as well inside here. So a lot of really good stuff in that new package, and that's only going to be supported on, I believe, 635 and up. I could be wrong. It might be 35.1 and up. So you'll have to upgrade to some of the latest versions as well for that, which is, of course, perfectly okay. Some other things that they had as far as those sessions, we had some IPv6 and OSPF-v3 sessions. Real world tips was another session. Fast path review, which is really, really important because if you're using CCRs, especially CCRs, to get the real full extent of their power, you really need to be trying to get into fast path. And there's some definite limitations inside the fast path support. But very, very important that you know how to use it, when to use it, and things like that. That was a good session. I've seen that session before as one of the gentlemen from MikroTik, Giannis, actually presents it. And then there was definitely quite a bit on the VLAN stuff, the cloud router switches. How to do VLANs, how to do basic routing, intra-VLAN routing on your CRSs or cloud router switches. So really good stuff as well. There was also a good session of VoIP problems and how to correct them. So if you're having VoIP issues, how can you correct them inside your router OS system, assuming you have that much control. Just some other things. They had some high availability sessions, web filtering, BGP labbing, full BGP table labs. Again, more switch functions, some scripting, the denial of service text. And what's going to be real nice, just so you know, is that you can go to mum.mikrotik.com and hit the archive and actually see, did they upload a file? Do they have a video online? They recorded and live streamed the entire thing. So it's probably all up there somewhere. You just have to find the live stream and find where your session starts, if that makes sense. So lots of really good stuff overall, and of course we had a good time because of course it's a mum. So there you go.
Did you one of the products that I know that's hot that no one can get a hold of? Any idea when the 3011 will be more prevalent?
Well, the answer to that question is basically into May. But I will tell you this right now is that based on our pre-ordering already. What happens is it's just like anything else. We make an order, we make our distribution orders, and basically it's a first come, first serve thing. So, Link Technologies as a whole, we will make orders, and if you sit there and go, hey, I want, 2 cases of them or however many you want, we could include that in one of our more recent orders. That way we can guarantee that product once it becomes available. But I know a lot of people that they do this is that they'll sit there and they'll wait for the product to become possibly available, but then they don't really account for, and this happened with the B11s. This happens with a lot of new products. But what they do is they wait. They go, I don't want to put any money down because I want to wait until they're available. Well, as soon as they come available, they're usually unavailable, if that makes sense, because everybody already has pre-orders. I can go, hey, I got, 50 B11 links coming in, and out of those 50, I had like none left on the initial batch. So you can see how that happens. It's just important to note that was that does happen quite often, and then people kind of certain people will kind of get a little upset about it. But to be honest with you, kind of have to put a little skin in the game if you really want to get it quickly. Usually it's not too terribly bad, but I know the haps are kind of the same way. Some of the new high-end haps, they've underestimated the quantities that they've needed, and we're a little low on stock or out of stock on those as well. So kind of the same thing. If you know you're going to need some and you want to get on that list, so as soon as they can come in, you can get it. Link Technologies is a master distributor. We distribute directly with MikroTik, so we get stock just as quick as anybody else. Typically a little bit quicker because we have we sell a lot of MikroTik. What can I say?
Any idea on I think they're the cloud router switch with the 12 port SF ports. Do you think they're going to build something with 24 or 48?
So that's a really good question. I mean, there was a lot of comments about the CRS product line. One of the big questions everybody's asking is, what about we always have the hex PoEs or the 750 PoEs, and the question was why don't we have a MikroTik 12 port PoE version and things like that? And it all really comes down to cost. How can you make it and be applicable to ship easily and effectively, especially when there's other products out there that are filling some needs, if that makes sense. So while I would not sit there and tell you that no, there's not going to be one, I can't sit there and confirm that there will be one. So I definitely said
gang them up if you need more than 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about this though, is that especially like the some of the existing products where we have a pair of 10 gig ports and then we have 10 or 12 1 gig ports. I mean, you're only going to get 10 gig through the unit anyway. You see what I'm saying? So putting 24 ports, I mean, I understand port density is there, but you don't really have the port density to support that, to support the speed. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but the big key here is, think of it this way, is for the cost of a CRS switch and the cost of a 10 gig cross-connect cable, the 1 meter cross-connect cable, you can stack 5 of them before you get to the next switch closest to that product in a 10 gig stack. Yeah. I mean, you're nowhere near anywhere with any decent product. I know some Netgears that we did some stacking with, and the stack kits are expensive. You know what I'm saying? And then you just try to do 10 gig cross connects, and now you have to buy SFPs, everything else. So, and then will it work with a MikroTik SFP? Don't know. I don't know. It seems to be pretty inexpensive as well. And we use these CRSs quite extensively, both in-house and on many of other products as well, in jobs.
No, they worked out great for me. And like you said, they're a very reasonably priced
very, very reasonable
switch.
So, with that said, I guess I ought to check I didn't check the website to see if we had any questions, because of course we'd love to have some questions. Let's see here. I have to actually open it up. It would be helpful. But other than that, I mean, the mum was definitely a really good event, and if you missed it,
4-day event.
What was that?
Was it a 4-day event?
No, 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. It's a much smaller event, as I said. compared to other events as well. So
How many folks do you think showed up?
They had like 800 register, but I bet you if they had 300, 400, it'd probably be the most there. I mean, it's just not. We don't get. It's a mum. You don't get as much on that as well. So, just looking here, I don't see anybody. If anybody has any questions, of course, please ask in our chat window. I'll just make sure I type in there. But it was a good event. But the mums are already usually a little bit smaller than the. Well, they're definitely smaller than most of the other shows that we would normally attend.
Mm-hmm.
So hence probably why we don't have a whole lot of people in the in this sessions, because people will play this one back anyway. This is it's a short one probably. So
Right.
Well, what else you got for me? You got any other questions, Steve?
That's about it. Just what's the product availability possibly for the 3011, but
Most of everything is going to be in May.
When so are you already cleared out of those new what are they, the light head grid or whatever?
I can't answer that. I know there was a delay on shipping them, so I know whichever ones we are getting or got. I don't know if they're in or not. I'd have to go check, to be honest with you. I don't sit there and watch our stock levels like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to get some in. We'll probably get a couple pallets in and see how well they sell. But honestly, unless you're doing a AC product, the lighthead grids at $59 are just an absolute. I don't know why anybody wouldn't be using them.
Yeah.
If you're using MikroTik CPEs, other than going to a I guess SXT, but even that, I'm just gonna pull this up here real quick. I just wanted to do a comparison here. Let's take a look. You can tell how long my night was. Actually, I got up really early for a cutover, a 10 gig cutover. And just didn't go. But if you're in if you're just using lights, I mean, I guess the SXT lights are in the same ballpark, $49.59, dual chain, 5 gig or 2.4, but you only get a 16 dB antenna with that, and now you can do the LHGs for that. So you're kind of in the same ballpark, but I definitely think some of the probably like the high gain SXT. That product will probably, I'm not going to say it's going away by any means, but that product will probably be probably come down a little bit either in price, or it'll be phased out eventually, just simply because of that. Oh, they do have, you know what, I apologize. They did announce a new AC OmniTik. So they will have a new OmniTik that supports AC. A little different case design. They'll have an OmniTik UP AC as well. I think those are third quarter this year. But again, I don't have that. Unfortunately, I don't have that sheet. I don't have the presentation to fall back on, tell you exactly what their estimated prices are. They do have another radio card that's going to come out, but we really don't see people using the radio cards as much anymore. So it is what it is, if that makes sense.
The 900 board.
Yeah, And I mean, I know tons of people, as far as the 900 goes, I mean, if you are using 900, most people are really moving over to the Metal 9, to be honest with you. I mean, those are the way to go. I've heard a lot of people have really good success with those. So, but there you go, man. That is MUM in a nutshell. I wish I had a whole bunch more information, but there wasn't that much that actually, really went on. So.
Yeah, and we've talked about a lot of this in previous shows.
Yeah, that also too. So make sure you refer back to some of the previous shows for any of those extra products. But just keep in mind, we stock everything pretty much as soon as we can get it in the U.S. We're probably going to have it. So definitely keep that in mind. I say we, as in Link Technologies Incorporated, anyway. So,
right.
And you can visit us at linktex.net if you need to know where that is. I don't know why anybody would, but. Why they wouldn't know about it, that is. So.
Well, unless you got anything else, we could wrap the show up early. But next week we have Power Code on. Been trying to get them on the show for quite a while, and glad that they're going to participate. tell us about their product and what they've got coming down the pike for all you Power Code users. And those of you that want to learn more about Power Code, this will be the show for you to listen in on. And then in 2 weeks, I'm working on trying to get ReadyNet to come on the show to talk about their managed router, home routers that they've got. So, you got anything else, Dennis?
Nope, that's it, man. I think we're good. We'll get out of here and have a great show next week with Power Code.
All righty. Well, have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys all next week.
Thank you for listening to ISP Radio. We hope you've gained new insights and additional wisdom in our industry as well as your business. Please remember to visit our show sponsors via the links on ispradio.com. If you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, contact us at sales@ispradio.com. Now go out there and push those packets as fast as you can. Good luck and Godspeed.